Test, test. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Can I get a good morning back? We're all excited. Yeah, first day, first day. Thank you. I'm Mica, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today, presenting some of the work that our team had the honor to do this past year with Danielle Brathwaite-Shirley and Serpentine Art Technology in the UK. Who here is familiar with the gallery or with the artist? Okay, a little bit. So we're all fresh and new. Okay, cool. So I'm really excited to share this work. Danielle is an artist based out of the UK and in Berlin as well, who does really compelling, glitchy, exciting pieces. So I'm going to do some screen sharing, and we just discovered that the two screen display isn't on my computer properly, so you're just going to get like a behind the scenes and see me clicking tabs, and it's the first thing of the day, so we're gonna figure it out. So this work that I'm sharing with you is a game that our team at Beyond Code Collective developed called I Didn't Realize You Thought Like That. And it is a game adaptation of a game that was commissioned by Serpentine Technologies from Danielle for an exhibition they did of her work at the end of last year through the start of this year. Now, the question this work asks throughout is, what world would you create if you had the choice? And you'll see these very subtle QR codes in the corner if you want to start playing the game or poke around with it a little bit while you're in the room. Please feel free. My technical friends, the timer isn't going, so I don't know how long I'll be talking for, so I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so this is a preview of the installation that was at the gallery, and the work itself is really set upon this idea of a new era that is a storyline created by Danielle. And I'm going to just paraphrase at a high level what that experience is like. So in this world that Danielle has created, when you walk into the exhibition, which you're seeing here, you are in a world where there has been almost like it's a post-apocalyptic world, and all of the worst parts of the internet and the world have come alive, which can sound somewhat familiar, perhaps, for some of us. And in that, you are almost like the gatekeeper of a town or a village or the world that you're creating. And as you go through the gameplay virtually in the game, and then as well as in the physical exhibition, you basically you're approached at the door by different characters, and you have to listen to what they have to say in one sentence and decide if you let them in or turn them away. And then the culmination of the folks that you choose for the game are what create the end world, which we'll talk about more in a second. Here's an example of one of the characters. Just Another NPC is the character's name, and if you say open the door if you've ever been censored, and you can say no, I'm not going to open the door, but you're prompted to think deeply about some of the things that they're asking you. Now, just a little bit of history and background on who built this game. So as I mentioned, Danielle Brathwaite-Shirley is an artist based in the UK, really focused as both an artist and an archivist, using interactive technologies to create participatory spaces. So a lot of her work is around accessibility and bringing in the viewer, the interaction, and the audience. Beyond Code Collective, where I'm the executive director, we're a learning and workforce ecosystem designed to serve learners of all backgrounds. Fabulous for them. So Beyond Code Collective, and so we had the honor of being commissioned by Serpentine and Danielle to build this game with our team, and then Serpentine Arts Technology, hello, is an organization and art community and gallery in the UK that does really important work around digital technology, digital experience, and community. And all of this was made possible with support from the Glasshouse Foundation. So this quote from Danielle, I didn't realize you thought like that, is a reflection of our world, allowing players to reflect on their political opinions and beliefs to understand how their judgments shape and construct the lives of others. So, as I mentioned earlier, her work is really around participation. And so a key part of this in the game and also in the physical world, if you went to the exhibition, is you have to actually opt in. So there's a long term, this is extremely long. The original version was like 4 screens, it was very like Star Warsy. And it was like, do you opt into this? Is this the world that you want to be part of? Are you willing to take the responsibility of deciding who gets to enter it? You agree or you disagree. If you disagree, it actually prompts you to say like, okay, well then like take some time, think about it, and come back another day. I'm not going to read all of the lore, but there is a very long lore screen that then follows. Again, much of Danielle's world is about immersing you in the experience that you're creating, and that is very much how this game was built out as well. You're then prompted with a handful of questions. Am I a beacon of hope for others? You choose yes or no. Are you scared about the future of your world? Yes or no. And are you the right person to decide who is allowed through this door? Yes or no. Your response to these questions within the game, to give you a bit of behind the scenes, there is an incredibly complex logic tree that then decides what lens through which you are going to approach the world and which characters you are actually, you meet in your gameplay. The original experience in person has about 120 characters. The game itself, you interact with 20 at a time, but there are countless ways you can keep going through for hours and never meet the same character again. This is a flashing lights warning. And now I'm going to open, and it's also a, don't look at the screen for a second while I pull up a video warning. Okay. So this is what you first see if you select Hope as one of your worlds. This is the lens that you get before you go meet the characters. Follow the sound of my voice. I'll read it just because it's, come here. And so within the game, you get these almost like glitchy, unhinged, unsettling feelings throughout, both from the characters and the videos that you're interacting throughout it.
Yeah, you. Do you not feel that burning in your chest? Everything is so unstable. I bet the anxiety is bubbling like toxic waste in your body. Too much change across the world for a settled stomach. It looks scary to you, dangerous even. But you can't turn away. It keeps sucking you in. You cannot remove yourself from your complicity. The pain and destruction haunts you. But you know you must be a victim. Or a victor, what will you be?
Okay, so that's the hate entrance. So let's say you selected out of those 3 questions and you end up with the hate lens. You then are approached by a number of, let me pull this back up, a number of characters that then are potentially going to lean you more towards hate. And it's up to you to figure out which way you want to go. And I will also name, you were not told you were in the hate lens and the hate world. You are then opting in to figuring out how to get out of it if you want to. So here are 2 examples of the characters that are in the game that you're experiencing and interacting with. And it's almost a Tinder-like experience. So you swipe left or you swipe right and you decide who you're going to let in or who you're not going to. And I'm going to play this next video just really quickly because I want us to get into a bit of the conversation as well. So let's say you had selected a number of characters, but your lens had been fear, for example. So this is what you get at the end. You play through 20 characters, and then you get this fear outro video. And the audio isn't working, so, oh, I'm so sorry.
I need you to march your feet to the beat. March them loud enough for everyone to hear. Feeling that power when you do an act in unison. And keep marching, just feel the moment. And let your eyes meet the eyes of those around you.
So imagine you're in a physical experience doing this as well. So the room that I showed at the very beginning, that like dark with all the fabric, like you were surrounded by like potentially 20 other people watching you decide who gets in and doesn't get into your world. And so the idea with the virtual, with the game on your phone is that you have that same sensation where you're almost like someone is watching me and telling me what to do, and I already made my decisions and what is going to happen next. And so when you get into the next phase of the game, after you've created your world, sorry. There we go. Then you are faced with the closing lore. So this is the world that you end up creating. So it tells you what characters you interacted with and what the effect they had on other characters you had already selected in the game. So in this example, Saint Psalm 777 meets Democracy Was Nice, makes Democracy Was Nice question what safety even means. Satan hugs democracy was nice, becomes mentally unstable and is hospitalized. So very much, yeah, very much meant to give you question the decisions that you have made and what world you are creating. Again, 120 characters in the original, 20 within this game that you can play using the QR code in the bottom left corner. Oops. And then at the end, one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, is this entire experience is meant to be participatory. So because you're going through it as an individual in your home, in this room, on the bus, you're playing a game on your phone. It's not exactly the same as when you're in person. And so we had a conversation with the team about what would it look like to actually invite others into the experience with you, and how do we create an opportunity where you can share it on social media or whatever platform, but it doesn't feel transactional or like you're trying to be viral. Like, what does that look like? And so every player, when you play the game at the end, you can actually type in your name, you type in what the name of your world is, and you actually get your own like keepable item that, yes, you can share to other people, but also keep for yourself. And you do this every single time you go through the gameplay. As an experience as well, one of the biggest reasons that this game even exists in the mobile world, not only in the exhibition, it goes back to that point around accessibility. It was really, really important to Danielle that as we think about how polarized, I'll say really simply, that the world can be and is, she wanted to make sure that folks around the world could have this experience. Currently it is in English only, but we have been having conversations about translation to make sure it's available to all. And this is the question, Danielle. So I'm obviously the only person on stage today. The team, most of them are all in the UK. They weren't able to fly in, but the question Danielle wanted me to pose to you all, so I'm gonna stop talking for like 2 minutes, and if you can look to someone beside you or behind you who you don't know and talk about this question just for a minute or two would be awesome, or just like meet them and make a friend, and then we can just come back as a group. So what kind of actions bring you hope? And can you think of an example? And you can talk about that in the physical sense of the physical world that brings you hope, the digital, or maybe the blending of two. I have 9 minutes and 40 seconds left, so you all have until 7:40 to talk. Find a new person beside you, please, and answer this question. You can be groups of 3. There's no limit. Like, make as many friends as you can. You have 1 minute. So technically there's 1 minute left, but if you want like another, everyone take another minute. You're having a great time. I'm not gonna stop this. I'm not gonna stop it. Yeah. But I am gonna make someone share, so get ready. You have 30 seconds. Okay, everybody, if you can please wind down your fabulous conversations. My goal is to end this session before the ticker goes to 1. That way everyone has 60 seconds to exchange information before the end. So I'm going to come to the 3 folks I asked. I'm going to come to this group, then to this corner, and then close in the back corner there. Hello. Will you please either share what your group talked about or answer the question, whichever you'd like.
Thank you. Hello, okay, good. So we talked about hope, couple of things. One, that getting together and discuss about or share information, collaborate. I think it's important, and that brings hope, right? And for me, I thought hope, even 10 seconds of the day that you have precognitions what's going to happen, you feel a lot happy and hopeful, I think. So you make a decision properly. So I'm doing my PhD in leadership and ludology, the intersection of it. So we were just talking about, just a story, self-actualization, leadership, and in esports. So we're just chatting about it. So. Oh, I'm sorry, Tep Pham. So.
Talk more about that. Okay, sipping over here. We have minute. Who? You're. Oh, volunteer.
Just volunteer.
Please stand and say your name.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Douglas, the business program manager for Xbox Game Camp. We talked about just a lot of the programs that are available. So like instances like this Games for Change Summit, but also Beyond Code Collective, Black Girls Code. There's a lot of other nonprofits that are out there that are amazing, that not only serves the people who are in their communities as the target, but it opens up conversations for their families. And one of the things that we talked about is a thing that I used to tell people all the time, like going through this, is if you have an O moment, so it's OOH, if you're open, objective, and honest, then people will kind of open their minds up to things that you'll have, and you may change their perspective and create curiosity about learning something new.
I like that. OOH. Thank you. Okay. Hello.
Hi guys, I'm Kitty, Kitty Hayes. I work at Covenant House, so we're a youth shelter in Manhattan. We've got 5 more sites in the Bronx, and we had the pleasure of talking to Mica from Giving Tuesdays, and we found a really easy commonality. We both work with young people, and we work with young people who are going to be the next generation, and they're going to be better than our generation. So we have a pretty easy way to see hope every day with the populations we work with, but also with the donors and the people that engage with us who give up their time to the next generation. So it's a pretty easy one for us.
Okay, I'll answer the question while I walk to get the microphone. This room is what gives me hope. To that point, it is the next generation, but I'm a little bit biased because Beyond Code does a lot of work that is intergenerational. So I actually think it's all of our generations making sure we're coming together in the room. And so just want to say thank you again for attending. That's all, folks. Please scan there's a QR code on this? Yeah, scan the QR code in the top right corner of this slide. Follow everyone on the internet. Make a new friend. I will hang out for probably a minute because I think they want the session to end and go to the next one because we're late. But please, talk for a second. Make sure you get each other's info and have a really great time at the festival. Thank you, everyone.